Michael Kors watch about to get clocked. I'm turning up a notch. Watch the world rock. I got the six flow, I got tons of dough, I got tons of hoe, and baby now you know. Not going slow, I got lean no, I got weed though, sound from below, seems like a long time ago. Take a photo, click, with the beats and the bass sound on the track. Yo, what's going on, Monkey Squad? Wavy Monks here, and today I'm back with another video. As you can tell, I have some Fortnite gameplay. It's a bit old, but you know what? It's going to be alright, because today I have a story time for you. I am here with Spencer.
What's up, faggots?
This is a story of a series of unbelievable, but
pretty strange events, honestly. Yeah. This story, for the video's sake, is fiction. It is coming from two people named
Andrew and Steve.
Alright, so it was around, let's say midnight, alright? And, like, Andrew and Steve were over at one another's houses. They were just, you know, goofing off, bullshitting around, you know, playing some Fortnite, some Battlefield 1. Andrew and Steve decide that it would be a good idea to go and try to go into the gas station Flashin' and get a disposable e-cigarette and other goodies, should we say. Now, the thing is Andrew's and Steve's parents were home, and they had to wait for them to go upstairs. So during the night, what they did was they shut off all the lights, shut down the entire house, and snuck out the back. Andrew and Steve arrive at the gas station. Once Andrew and Steve had snuck out, they're now on the road. It is cold as shit. Andrew and Steve could see their breaths. It was cold as all living shit. Said it felt like 30 degrees. It was like 34. Andrew and Steve, they're walking down the road, right? The road is completely fucking deserted. There is nobody on that fucking road. One car came by Andrew and Steve, went down the highway, and that was it. Of what they told us, that was completely the fuck it. No other cars are on that road, and it's cold as shit outside. So they're walking down, right? They get to the Flashin', so they're trying to juggle up like a plan, like what they're gonna do.
The Flashin' is the gas station.
They get in. Andrew's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go back and buy some drinks." Steve says, "Alright, I'll try and do the dirty work." So Steve goes up to the counter, and he asks for a disposable blue and 2 Black and Milds. The guy there gets it for him, brings it to the counter, and says, "ID, buddy?" Steve kind of starts to freak out because he opens up his wallet. His ID is gone. He starts to panic, but then he holds up another device that he had and says, "I got this from you shortly ago. Please trust me, I promise." The dude pauses there, gives Andrew a look, and gives Steve a look, smirks, and says, "Okay, buddy, have a good day." Steve walks out while Andrew remains in the store.
So then Andrew goes ahead and buys his 5 sodas and Sour Patch Kids. And he pays for that. They leave. Andrew walks out. He's trying to figure out where Steve went because Steve didn't want to get caught. So he booked it out of that place the first chance he got. They regrouped. And then they walked home, and they couldn't believe what happened. They could not comprehend what happened, like what had just happened. They didn't know how they got away with that, but they did. The only downside is that they probably can't go to that guy for about 4 months.
In order to get back, they have to be real quiet. They have to sneak around. It's a lot of hassle, but it's worth it. Andrew and Steve are back, and then they decide, before we watch a movie, we're going to go out again. Let's go spark up a Black and Mild. You know, that'd be fun. Wine flavor is really good. So they do. This is where shit starts to get interesting. So as they're walking down the street of what they told me, they have it all sparked up. Andrew, for some reason, doesn't want to go down this one road. Steve's like, "Alright, fine, fuck it, whatever." They see a truck approach them. Now, Andrew just starts to freak out. He's like, "Dude, we need to book it, we need to book it, we need to do this." This random car was following Andrew and Steve. It pulled up into the development and made a left instead of going straight to where Andrew and Steve were standing there enjoying a Black and Mild. Now, And before anyone asks, no, it wasn't filled with weed. No one fills Black and Milds with weed. So the car takes a left, and Andrew and Steve are like, oh, all right, it was just a car. But Andrew keeps on the lookout. Steve is like, whatever, no big deal. If they pull up or anything, there's no way that they can do anything because it's not an illegal substance of any kind. It's just like cheap tobacco.
It's just illegal to buy, not to smoke.
The car turns itself around and goes to the end of the road and starts to approach Andrew and Steve.
Andrew started freaking out and started booking. Steve was like, no, just chill, just stay back. As Andrew starts booking, Steve books as well. They're running, and then this car approaches, they slow down, the car just keeps going. This car went that way, so that means that if we still go that way, if that car turns around, we'll still be going that way, so we should go back way. That's what they were saying. And as they were turning around, they were sparking up their Black and Mild, taking their selfies, doing what they were doing. And then the car turns around.
Again.
Andrew starts freaking out again and starts booking.
Now, this time, Steve wasn't so reluctant. Steve booked it too, but then stopped. And then Steve realized that once again, if the car did stop, there wasn't much they could do. And anyway, the Black and Mild was burning pretty quickly. It was almost finished. And then Steve said, he was running. Steve runs a lot, so that wasn't much to him. But then he was like, dude, we should just stop, chill out, act normal. The car passes once again, makes another loop, and then goes out of the entire vicinity and onto the highway. Weirdest shit ever. Like, according to them, the car fucking passed them like 3 times. And, I mean, they have another story about that. I don't know what the hell it is with weird fucking cars and just driving around at 2 a.m., just fucking with people. I really don't know. They go back in, their hands smell, they wash their hands, and then this is where another thing starts.
This is where the strange shit happens. Andrew goes downstairs, grabs the Sour Patch Kids, goes back upstairs because they're going to watch a movie. And they go upstairs, and they get a call from a random number, and there was an old lady voice, and it was telling them to give them toilet paper.
Keep in mind that I know, an old lady asking for toilet paper, that's so obviously a fucking troll. From what Steve and Andrew have said, this fucking old lady voice was so spot on that
it freaked them out.
It legit kind of freaked Steve out, more than Andrew.
The next part is
she mentioned how her husband died. Now, usually in a prank call, it's usually like, oh, I'm just going to say some really fucked up shit and be an old lady or something. But according to them, this one sounded genuine, but it actually did sound like she was on her, losing her mind. Now, meanwhile, Steve gets up and hears the fucking cat behind him on the deck. Now, the problem with that is one of Steve's decks can't be accessed from the ground or any other place.
For about 9 feet. I would say that's a good 9 feet radius.
Yes, from the other deck. So Steve is like, dude, how the fuck did the cat get out there? Now, Steve has a habit of jumping to, like, the worst of the worst. And he starts getting paranoid that someone, when we left the back door open, that like, someone might have came into, Steve's house. And Steve was like, oh, fuck. And he lets him in. So Steve's all paranoid. We're watching Bad Grandpa. Funny-ass movie, by the way. It actually got kind of sad, like, towards the end of what I hear. I watched it, too, and it was. But then it was kind of heartwarming. But,
So then not only did the old lady call me, we called it back. It didn't answer. I left a message. Then the same number calls back wanting a magazine subscription. To this point, we're like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, this is definitely a troll. We can stop being paranoid, right? So we don't call this number back, and it sends us a text, and it says, Andrew and Steve are kind of freaking out here.
Like, at this point, is this old lady, is she in any danger? Because the call according to them, sounded so genuine that, like, if an old lady actually was panicked, that's kind of how she'd sound. Like, it was spot the fuck on. So Andrew blocks the caller.
To which this gets even more freaky. He texts Andrew with another number saying, "Ha, you think you can block me? I can do this all day," basically. And Andrew is now freaking out. Steve is also freaking out. They're going back and forth. It's all strange.
We do soon catch on that this is actually a friend of Andrew's just trolling. Now, we all congratulate him, but for some reason, Steve was still bothered that the cat made it from one deck to the other, and the cat would literally have had to jump like 9 or 10 feet. And Steve's like, how do you do the wall is pretty slick, there's no way. So Steve is already kind of paranoid. And through the rest of the night, they just kind of hung out, bullshitted around, and then Steve just started to fade out because he was getting so sleepy. And he went to bed, and then that was about it of what I know. Did anything else happen according to Andrew?
I mean, other than that, Andrew stayed up all night because of how paranoid he was. Steve went to bed.
I checked. Yeah, Steve fucking checked the attic.
Yeah, he checked the attic. The next morning, Andrew talks to Steve's dad. Andrew asked him that he let the cat out on this part of the deck. And Steve's dad said, "Yeah, I did." Andrew told Steve's dad that that was pretty weird because the cat ended up on the other side of the deck, which is, again, a 9 to 10 foot jump. And Steve's dad said that, yeah, the cat does that. And it's kind of weird considering how it's a 9 to 10 foot radius jump right there. It was all freaky. They're so glad it's over. But this was the story of a series of unbelievable but
pretty strange events, honestly. Yeah. That's our story about Andrew and Steve. They're all fine now. They live in a different state. They're actually friends from the past.
Have a great rest of your day, Monkey Squad. I hope the story didn't freak you out too much. Wavy Monks here, and I'm out. Peace.
Okay, Buddy. Have a good day.